This video was brought to you by With Him Moreland Construction and Services LLC. If you have any housing projects which include an interior or an exterior remodel, if you need a brand new roof, if you need any electrical services or just anything around the house, don't tackle on that house project by yourself. Give these guys a call at 501-326-4533. They will also include a free inspection upon arrival. Also brought to you by Superior RV in Conway, Arkansas. Get pre-qualified for an RV within seconds. No effect on your credit score. No need for a social security number or date of birth. Give these guys a call at 501-214-8153 or visit their website at rvbestbuy.com. Also, support our other sponsors here. They work hard to make sure that our page is running, which in return keeps you guys safe during the big events, severe and winter weather alike. If you need additional business, if you have a small business or a big business, give us an email at info@arkansasweatherwatchers.org.
Well, good evening, Arkansas, and a happy Monday to everybody out there around the state. Still a couple of days left in 2024. We're in that period where nobody really knows what day of the week it is. Nobody knows what time of the year it is. We're just kind of all getting by till we get to the first of the year. Of course, that being said, it's a very, very, very nice day around the state. Very, very warm at this hour, coming in at 66 at Fort Smith, 68 in Texarkana, and that was our warm spot earlier to a day, hitting 73. Of course, 63 El Dorado, 67 across it. Of course, we are at 55 in Jonesboro, 52 in Batesville, 47 in Jasper, our cold spot, and then of course, 61 here at the Weather Center this evening. Overall, a very nice day around the state, and really that has been seen across much of the region as well. As you can see, a very quiet radar around everywhere, really around our entire region. Has been dry and sunny today, mild as well. We do have a cold front that is starting to push in, and that will be our focal point for our change in our weather as we head through much of the upcoming week. Again, today was our dry day. Today was our mild day. We're going to be dry for much of the upcoming week. Again, we're going to be cold and dry. Colder tomorrow. Highs in the 40s and fifth. Highs in the 40s and fifth and 50s compared to what we normally see this time of year. Average highs typically run in the 40s, lows in the 20s. It's going to be a colder New Year's Eve for everybody out there around the state, but it's going to be dry. So if you have any New Year's Eve plans, it is going to be dry. It's going to be colder, but we're not expecting anything in the way of precip really now or through the rest of the week. Now, that does change as we head into next weekend. We have a series of cold fronts coming throughout the upcoming week that is going to gradually step down our temperatures throughout much of the upcoming week. Again, today has brought a lot more murky waters when it comes to our next big weather maker this upcoming weekend ahead of our Arctic blast. The biggest question is going to be right now, will it be rain, will it be severe weather, or will we see some kind of wintry weather as well? And we'll go over that here in just a little bit. But right now, it's about as murky as mud when it comes to, Arkansas weather. You have one set of guys saying one thing, you have one set of guys saying the other. The pattern supports either or, really, and typically speaking, when you deal with these type of situations, it is more of a rain with a winter weather on the backside. We don't see much in the way of severe weather, but we also don't see much in the way of wintry weather either with this type of setup coming up this weekend. But again, we still have several days to watch that, so it's something to watch as we head throughout much of the upcoming week. Now, that being said, behind that system this upcoming weekend, it is going to get cold. It is going to get brutally cold. I'm just going to be honest. It is going to be very, very similar to the Arctic blast that we've seen over the past few years. Now, does that mean it's going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? That remains to be seen with this. But this round of Arctic air does have staying power, so it won't be one of those 1 or 2 day blasts and it's gone. We could see several days with highs in the 20s and 30s, lows in the teens, lows in the 20 single digits in certain circumstances if the cold air does tend to be a little bit more in deeper than what is currently anticipated. Again, guidance does tend to kind of be a little bit warmer, especially underestimating these air masses as they move south. So something we're going to have to watch for as we get closer and those details become more in depth. Now, that being said, the biggest question is, we are getting colder, below freezing air. Does that mean winter weather? Many of you saw that possibility on the page this afternoon about the colder air and the winter weather. Again, we made this map a couple days ago. The setup still remains the same. Active track early on in the period. Polar jet coming south, colder air at the surface. How cold it is, how deep it is, and storm track will be a key in this time frame, especially from January 5th through about January 10th. Those first 5 or 6 days of this Arctic outbreak is going to determine a lot when it comes to our overall pattern. Now, that being said, we know what does it look like in terms of our temperatures. Temperatures are going to be very, very cold. CBC came out with their new outlook showing a very high chance of well below average temperatures. Again, our average highs in the 40s, average lows in the 20s. We will be talking about highs in the 30s and 40s in South Arkansas, 20s to 30s potentially, with lows in the single digits and teens, especially across much of the state. That being said, the closer we get, we will get an idea on how cold it's going to be. Now is the time to prep for what's coming towards the end of the period. Again, you don't want to wait till you get towards the day of. Now is the time to prep your homes, your pipes, all that, etc. when it comes to getting ready for cold air, because this will be that pipe busting cold, especially if we're dealing with it for several days in advance. Now, the elephant in the room, of course, is that heavy snow risk. Again, CBC put this out because, again, every area of the country deals with a different qualification when it comes to heavy snow. Now, that being said, this is a slight risk, meaning this is a chance to see that snowfall, the heavy snow risk. Again, this could also mean heavy snow, heavy sleet, heavy freezing rain. Really, it all depends. In the discussion, it did mention that possibility of 1.5 inches or more of accumulating snow. In Dallas, 1.5 inches is heavy snow. Here, 3 to 4 inches is heavy snow. You go northeast a foot is heavy snow. It just really depends where you are in the country as to how this plays out. But overall, this is higher confidence that chance is there, especially in early on in the period. We will have a system come through Saturday night and Sunday. Then we're going to have another one right behind it on Monday and Tuesday. So with cold air in place, that could mean snow, could mean sleet, could mean ice. It's kind of a wait and see, but this is a increasing risk that we could see that possibility. Does this mean you will get a foot of snow? No. That's what I want to stress on this, is that it does not mean you're going to see a foot of snow. What this means is that there is a chance, similar to what we see with severe weather outlooks, where we're talking about the slight risk, the moderate risk, the high risk. A slight risk means there is a low-end chance that we could see heavy snow during a certain period. That is what that means. This is very similar to what SPC puts out when we're talking about those outlooks. So that's what we're looking for. This matches up to a forecast of colder air and an active storm track, which is what we've been talking about for several days now. So will this come to fruition? I've seen this in 2020 and 2021 where these maps happened, and this came to fruition several days in advance. Now, last year, it didn't. So it just really depends again, air mass and storm track, and as to how this goes, and those won't be able to be fine-tuned until we get closer to our time frame. Typically, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday time frame, that's when we'll really be able to hone in on exact track, exact amounts, etc. when it comes to any sort of winter weather. Again, right now, we're in the heads-up stage, and that's what most of you want, is a heads up as to those rapidly changing weather conditions this far out. So again, that being said, what does our weather look like for tonight? So another very mild night for December standards across the state. Lows in the 30s and 40s. clear skies. We will see a little bit more cloud cover across northern Arkansas because of a low passing by to our north. That as that pulls away, our cloud cover will decrease from north to south. But what this cloud cover signifies, though, is a cold front that is going to be moving south throughout the day, overnight, tonight, and into the day on Tuesday. That front coming in Tuesday will bring higher winds. Your wind gusts will be much higher tomorrow. Winds 20 to 30 miles an hour. We could even see a few wind gusts, especially across parts of the Ozarks and Ouachitas late this evening. Hit that 20 to 30 mile an hour range. But tomorrow will be that big day when it comes to the winds, especially. But overall, lows of 30s and 40s around the state. Everybody above freezing tonight, but tonight will be that last night above freezing for several days to come, potentially till we get to the middle of the month. Now, that being said, as we have been talking about, we have been talking about that potential for both winter weather, that potential for both Arctic air coming in. So what does that data hold as we head into the upcoming period? So again, this is what we're talking about. Again, this is just one data run. This is on the, and I actually want to go back. So this is on the AT&T run of the GFS ensemble mean. So what this does is, and what we look at this period is those ensemble means. We look at those to see, hey, this takes all the 30 or 40 data models and puts it into a average to give us a solution. So what is this showing as we go throughout the upcoming period? Again, as you can see, as we work into January 2nd, January 3rd, very typical early of the year weather, highs in the 30s and 40s, lows in the 20s and 30s. And then as we get towards our Saturday and Sunday time frame, as you can see, our secondary push comes in. Lows get down in the 20s, highs in the 30s, and this is where we're going to really have to watch out for is how warm do we get Saturday will determine what happens on Sunday if you want my honest opinion. Saturday is going to be a big day, as you can see. As you can see our warm-up across parts of the southern plains, Texas, New Mexico, and you see that massive warm air coming in, but you can see those northeasterly winds continuing that Arctic surge over the state. Highs or lows in the low 30s, upper 20s to low 30s in South Arkansas. As you can see, as the track of that low moves south of the state, what you see is a major warm-up across parts of Texas, but that cold air remaining in place across Arkansas for much of the period. And then, of course, as we head just beyond that period, you see those temperatures tank to those. And again, this is showing highs and lows in the 20s with lows in the teens and the 20s, highs in the 20s and 30s. So nothing too extreme, but typical to what we see of in the early part of the year. But that being said, this does signify colder air coming, especially as we head into the new start of our work week, as the new semester starts back, especially. But again, this has changed significantly over the last 24 hours. This was much colder. Now it's a little bit warmer. It has trended a little bit colder again with the southern track once again. So it's just something to keep in mind as we go throughout really the upcoming week or so as to what happens with this. Now, that being said, what are your probabilities of at least 1 inch of snow during the same period? Now, again, this is backed off from what we've seen over the last 24 hours. Last night, I showed you this mean, and it was much more intense. Now, I take it all the way out here, through the 9th of January. Again, it doesn't show, it shows mostly northern Arkansas, which is to be expected in this type of air mass. Northern Arkansas is typically that favored environment, since central and south is typically a wait and see. Now, that being said, yesterday, this showed a lot more. This is just a GFS. It is one run of it. Again, this model runs 4 times a day, but this is what we look at for the law of averages when it comes to winter weather. Hence why when Cameron brought up the forecast yesterday, he mentioned that, hey, Northern Arkansas has the best chance right now, but we are watching Central Arkansas, especially for the upcoming weekend. When it comes to the following week, now that being said, that's a whole different story. Now, that being said, well, what we can do is and go look at the Euro on ensemble mean for the same time frame, and you can get exactly a completely different result. Now, that being said, this is looking at our national view. What we're gonna do is and go look here at our southern view here, and what we're gonna do is pull this out here all the way to the end of the period, and what you can see is a very similar solution. Again, the AT&T doesn't go out. What I'm gonna do is back this out here to our 12Z run, which was a warmer run, but again, it shows you the law of possibilities and the law of averages. Now, the Euro, on the other hand, shows that higher percentile when it comes to those snow chances, especially across parts of central and northern Arkansas. This is why the CPC has gone with that chance of heavy snow risk, because again, your track favors it, your pattern favors it, so that's something that we're going to watch for as we get closer to this time frame, especially for the time frame from next Sunday through next Wednesday of next week. Again, today is Monday, Sunday is at day 7, Monday is day 8, Tuesday day 9, Wednesday day 10. So we have plenty of time to watch this when it comes to that again. And then of course, as we mentioned, and as I have mentioned with our temperatures as well, during the same time frame, it does continue to show those colder than average temperatures across much of the region. But again, highs in the 20s and 30s, lows in the teens and 20s for much of the region, with of course that period of colder weather, especially just beyond Sunday. So once again, the biggest story, as I mentioned, is going to be the upcoming pattern. Will it bring snow? Will it bring ice? Will it bring rain? Will it bring severe weather? We know it's going to be cold, so severe weather is not a likely scenario. Sunday will be our first system with cold air, so that's going to be watched. Typically, cold air retreats, or cold air coming in as our system retreats means rain to a brief changeover with little to no accumulation. It's what happens beyond that is what we're going to be watching for that heavy snow risk, and or ice, and or sleet, and or just rain, or just dry and cold. Beyond the night time frame, it's going to be dry and cold. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's what it's going to be. So again, we will keep you updated throughout the period, throughout the ongoing. Bear with us as we try to keep you updated right here on your source for all things Arkansas weather.